Good morning, champions. I hope you're doing well, and I want to give a huge shout out to everybody on their way or at Ottawa fighting for freedom. And this is freedom for everybody, whether you were vaxxed or unvaxxed, you name it. Because once a government starts to take away freedoms from any group of people, it will eventually move to all groups of people. And that has been shown throughout the entirety of history. So, hats off to all the people going out there. And just to be clear, because I know why they're going out there, and I'm in 100% agreement. These are not, and I'm speaking for the majority. These are not people who are against vaccines. These are not people who hate people for having a vaccine or anything like that. This is purely for the freedom of choice. If you want to protect yourself by taking a vaccine, by wearing a mask, by standing 6 feet away from someone, that is your right, and you have that right. And we will fight for your right to be able to protect yourself in that way. Isn't that interesting? How a guy like me, who personally will not take the vaccine, does not care to wear a mask, and will stand within 6 feet of people who are open to stand within 6 feet of me, but I will fight for your right to be able to take a vaccine, wear a mask, and stand 6 feet apart. And how so many people will not fight for my right to live my life the way I choose. That's an interesting mentality, and it's actually very dangerous. We have to be aware of this. Freedom is the key. This is what we all fight for. This is what we all want, whether we agree or not. We want the freedom to live our lives the way we want. So we need to make sure that all groups have freedom to live their life the way they want. In no way do I care, to be honest, whether or not someone vaccines or masks. Like, that's their business. It's not my business. I don't care. And then people say, "Oh well, you're putting others at risk," and I'm like, how insane is this? If you're worried about getting sick, then wear the mask, take the jab, and stand 6 feet apart. Like, if you're doing those three things, aren't you protected? What matters whether I do it or not for your protection if you're doing those things? And if you're still at risk and you're doing those things, then maybe those things are useless. Common sense, right? And to be honest, this is where we have to really draw the line in the sand. Right? You get to protect yourself the way you want. I get to live my life the way I want. We work together to have a prosperous nation, to live in freedom, to help people, to win, to be successful, right? Success is our duty in life. And we have to help to expand this beyond our borders and make sure that every person in every nation, of every race, of every religion, gets to have freedom. And anybody opposed to that freedom should not have power over anyone else, because this is not a good human trait. The desire to impose restrictions, mandates upon any person, group of people. If you are not infringing on my rights, you have the right to live your life the way you want. Likewise to me, I have the right to live the way I want to live. Right? Now, if I was going and, let's say, intruding in someone's space beyond and they don't want me there, that's a different story. Right? But that's not the case. Right? Most of the people, especially those who I have a lot of respect for, who are taking the fight to Ottawa, most of them are good people who just want to be left alone and let them live the way they want and let them work the way they want. Businesses want to serve who they choose. If the business wants to mandate masks walking into their business, that's their choice. But the business should not be forced by the government to have those mandates. Right? Because then I have the right. If this business doesn't want me in their business because I'm not wearing a mask, that's okay. I'll just go to the business that does. No problem. They don't get my business, I'll find some other business. But I have a lot of friends and a lot of contacts who are business owners, and the only reason they are doing this is because they will be fined, they will be shut down if they do what they want, which is pure evil, which is a totalitarian authority. Like, this is like not a good way of government. However you want to word that. This is not good for people. And this will transfer over many people. I was talking to a few people and they're like, oh, well, if everyone just got vaxxed and all this stuff, I'm just like, no, that's not the real issue, right? You think you're immune to the mandates just because you're following suit. But in fact, what you're doing is you're allowing someone, an entity, a government to take away your freedoms, right? You're okay with it, but you're allowing it to happen. And the more and more it happens, the more and more restricted it will be. It's not going to stop where it's at. Oh, the virus is going to be gone. No, you have to understand, it's like the war on terrorism. It's like the war on drugs. There will always be a new variant. There will always be a new enemy. And that each new enemy will require new mandates, will require more restrictions, will bring less freedom to our lives. So we have to learn how to work as a civilized, common sense, logical nation, and we have to work with this, right? Again, if you're worried about it, you do what you need to do to protect yourself. If you're protected, if you're doing what you need to do, then there's no worries about me. There's no worries about anyone else. You do what you need to do, and we respect that. And this has to be the logic we work with. So I hope, even though I don't have a lot of faith in the people who call ourselves the government, to call themselves our government, but still, I hope they get the point. I hope they make the change. And to be honest, I just hope a more logical way of thinking comes about the majority of people, right? Because the government is the servant of the people. It's not the other way around. So this is why, this is the way it was set up. The government was put in place to be the servant of the people, not the other way around. And over time, through things like taxes, which were only supposed to be temporary, through restrictions and laws and intervention, the people are now starting to be the servants of the government. And the government is starting to have more control than the people do. At least that's the way it looks. Which, again, it only has a negative ending for everybody. There's no positivity to that. This is why, so we turn it around. The people take back the power. We run our businesses the way we choose. We live our lives the way we choose, irrelevant of what a few people have to say. We work within love and respect and order. And hey, I want our economy and our system to work well. I want it to be good. I want people to be safe. I want people who are worried about things to be able to protect themselves and their own person the way they choose. That is the great part about being where we are at the time we're at. So I hope my talk inspired some ideas in some, right? I'm not here to rant, but I'm here to hopefully inspire a different perspective. Because again, I listen to some people and I'm just like, maybe there's a lack of logic sometimes. There's a lack of logic. And I'll give just a small example as I wrap up here. And we already know, like, for example, going into a restaurant that, there's certain mandates they have to follow, but it's pure insanity. Like I was just seeing it happen in front of me the other day when we're at a restaurant with a few of our friends and we've already probably heard about this and talked about it. Walking from the front door of the restaurant to the seat, you have to wear a mask, but while you're sitting, you don't. I don't know if anyone understands how air works. It's kind of like water in a pool. It actually is. It's just there's a few different compounds, but it's very, very similar. Air flows. So imagine being in a pool, and imagine you're underwater, you're in a pool, and what you're saying is somehow that walking from the door to the table, and you have to wear a mask, because that's somehow gonna do anything. But when you're sitting down in the seat, your oxygen doesn't flow around the room. Imagine being in a pool and I peed in the pool on the left side of the pool. It's just a matter of time before that pee moves to the right side of the pool. Like, don't you get it? It's the same thing as oxygen, right? It's the same thing. You're saying I wear a mask from the front door to there, but while I'm sitting, it doesn't matter. But I'm breathing while I'm sitting. The oxygen's circulating around the room. Like, Is there any logic in this? So you're saying I'm at risk walking, but I'm not at risk sitting with all the oxygen that's flowing around the restaurant from everyone's mouth. It's pure insanity. It's insanity. There is no logic to it. There is zero logic, right? So again, that's just, there's little things like this, and they're not little, but there's things like this where people really got to wake up. They got to look around. They got to see it for themselves, and they got to open their eyes and be like, wow, okay, this doesn't make a lot of sense. Why are we following it? We, the people, are the power. The government is not the power. We are the power. We look at things logically. We conduct our lives as we choose based on logic and based on a common goodness. The love for neighbor, right? I love the person I'm sitting with. I love the person across the street from me. I love everybody in our country. I love everybody around the world. So I have a common goodness for them. Right? So if I'm walking into, let's say, a hospital or an old folks home where there are people who are severely compromised immunity, right? Then I will take my own precautions, wearing a mask, making sure that my oxygen, which has a potential to carry who knows what, doesn't flow around the room. Now, being clear, that is what I will do to respect that environment. But if you're worried about your own health and immunity, and you are in a public environment, then it's your responsibility to protect yourself. I don't have to worry about that. You can stand 6 feet away, you can wear a mask, you can get your own jab, your own vaccine, and that's A-okay. That's your way of protecting yourself. But in no way do you have the right to force me or anybody else to do whatever you want us to do so that you feel safe. That is your own problem. That is your own challenge. That is your own responsibility that you have to deal with your person, right? I will not enter your home in a way that you do not respect, right? Or do not ask for. Just as you enter my home, that's I have my own, standards of that. Right? Just like if I'm walking into a hospital, they have their standards. There's people there who are sick or who have a very severely compromised health. Of course. Again, common sense, logic. Right? Not shutting down like I listen to, these guys are just puppets, Trudeau and all these people, they're just puppets. We know that, but you listen to it, and you listen to it, propaganda over the media. The things they say, there is no science, there is no logic, it doesn't make any sense. It's mindless. But to be honest, it's not mindless. There's an agenda behind it. It's so mindless that it's obvious that there has to be an agenda behind it. An agenda that's not for our good, to restrict us, to control, because it doesn't make any sense. There's no logic, right? So, again, without continuing on the topic, I just wanted to express that. Again, hopefully I inspire some ideas, and hopefully I inspire the drive for freedom. I work with people here who some have their vaccine, some don't, but I'm just blessed to be around a group of people who all agree that freedom is the key. I respect you and your rights. You respect me and my rights. We work together. We help people. We come together. In our world, we share financial literacy. We help people with their lives and their finances and their future. And we work as a team, and we help our people, and we respect each other. Like, why can't the world get along like this? Again, let's work together. Let's use logic. Let's not even consider the possibility that freedom will lose to anything at all. Freedom has already won. The world is already much freer today as far as time. Like, we go back 100 years, 1,000 years. Like, we're doing pretty good right now. So let's not go backwards. Let's ensure we go forwards. Let's ensure the world keeps getting more free. We keep spreading goodness and freeness around the world and not go the opposite direction. And in North America, and again, there's people all around the world, and there is freedom in other places, but North America has been the pinnacle for individual freedom and prosperity for a while, and I don't want to lose that. I want that to continue here and spread around the world. And, whatever that doesn't work, we'll get rid of that. And whatever that's working, that we love, the reason why we are here, the reason why I've chosen to stay in Canada, not for our sunny beaches and the hot weather, but for the freedom we have. My clients, who most of them are from other parts of the world, nobody comes to Canada for the tropical weather. We come here for the security and the freedom the country offers. It's interesting. I've actually had quite a few clients say like, wow, I left a country that actually is, or a lot of the politics and the laws and lack of laws is evil. I left that to come to a place of freedom, but now it's looking like this is starting to move in that direction. And when I'm listening to people who actually came from places that nobody from here would like to live, right? There's good people there, but nobody would like to live under those laws and that kind of cult and that kind of, I don't know what to call it, authoritarian rule. And when those people are saying, ugh, we're worried that this is moving in that direction, that should raise a red flag and hopefully open the eyes of people here, because we do not want to go in that direction. It will hurt every single person in this country, and it will spread. Once this place falls, everywhere else is going to start to fall, and we don't want that. So, done for my talk for today. I'm going to bring some financial education, and actually I'm going to talk about some financial workshops we're going to be doing over the next coming month. And I'm asking that, and to end my call today, last 30 seconds, financial education is the key to financial prosperity. The more you understand about money, the more prosperous it can be. So let's fight for freedom. Let's use logic. And I'm going to talk more about how we can be financially prosperous in the wealthiest place in the world. So I hope everyone has a good night. We've already won. Take care, and we'll talk soon.